An exclusive Newsday investigation, Sex Next Door, the growing push to crack down on illicit spas on Long Island. And
the Knicks pull off the miracle comeback and lead
a miracle comeback indeed. The Knicks make history, and they're now a win away from becoming champions. Plus, potentially dangerous heat. Feels like temperatures in the upper 90s on the island with the chance of some afternoon storms. I'm Jamie Stewart. Newsday investigates the thriving illicit massage industry on Long Island. Despite hundreds of police raids, little is done to stop the sex trade. Newsday investigative reporter Sandra Petty takes a look.
It is 9 in the morning on a weekday. Newsday cameras captured two women being dropped off at a no-name spa in Hicksville, a spa that's been repeatedly raided by authorities. Within 2 hours, two men quietly go in the back door of the spa.
They're everywhere.
Some of the spas that profit from the illegal sex trade have set up shop along this stretch of Jericho Turnpike in the town of Huntington. Authorities have raided 18 spas in the last 3 years in this stretch.
I had no idea. I didn't even know what they were doing there.
In one case in Selden, a few doors down from a mixed martial arts studio and a hair salon, authorities raided a foot spa and charged one person with prostitution.
It's amazing, like in your own neighborhood, how things pop up like this.
We see them in Nassau County. They're all over. They're in New York City. They're in Suffolk. But they are in every town. Court records, police reports, and press releases reveal Long Island has become a hub for massage spas that deal in sex. Police and investigators in several towns have raided more than 200 spas on Long Island over the last 5 years. More than 300 women have been charged. Arrests have skyrocketed more than 1,200% island-wide. The women arrested often face charges like unlicensed massage, a felony, or prostitution, a misdemeanor. Authorities say they rely mostly on complaints from neighbors for information. One business owner has sent police pictures of used condoms he finds in his parking lot. This foot spa in Huntington was shut down in April. Judy Morrison says she called the police.
It grosses me out so bad to even think about it. I would like to see them permanently closed down.
That didn't happen. Wells Spa was open the next day. Typically, these illegal spas are located on busy stretches of road, like this one, Broadway in Hicksville. At least 7 have been raided along this stretch, including this one you see on the right with no name. That one's been raided 3 times, and even though it's been raided 3 times, it's still open. How do we know that? We've seen people go in the back door. Authorities liken their enforcement actions against the illegal activities to a game of whack-a-mole.
They go, they get out the next day, out, no bail, and then they're gone. So there's no real penalty to it.
We are looking to prosecute the traffickers, the owners or the managers of these massage parlors.
The third charge is that
towns across Long Island have been trying to crack down on illicit massage parlors.
You just don't want those terrible things going on in your community. You know, nobody wants to think that people are being victimized on a daily basis where they live, in their backyard.
For Newsday TV, I'm Sandra Petty.
And you can read more about this story on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And now to what's being called a miracle comeback. The Knicks are on the brink of an NBA title. The back page of today's Newsday says it all. OMG, highlighting OG Anunoby's tip-in that sealed the win.
Castle hasn't lost it. That's it. It's over. The greatest comeback in NBA playoff history. The Knicks pull off the miracle comeback.
The Knicks completed the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history last night, rallying from a 29-point deficit to defeat the Spurs in Game 4. I was at MSG for the Magic. If Taylor Swift is in the building, you know it's a big game, and this would go on to be a love story for Knicks fans. But in the first half, San Antonio looked like they would run away with it. They made 14 three-pointers, an NBA Finals record. The Knicks trailed by as many as 29 points. But just like Taylor Swift, the Knicks shook it off with an epic second-half comeback. Final 2 minutes, Jalen Brunson cuts the lead to 1 with the 3-ball over Wemby. Then less than a minute later, Brunson gives the Knicks the lead, 105-104. Final seconds, Knicks down 1. Brunson's shot is no good, but OG Anunoby flies in to save the day. He had 33, and the Knicks complete the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history, down 29 to win 107-106.
I don't know if there's a play bigger than any other play in the history of Knicks basketball. That was a huge offensive rebound. Huge offensive rebound.
It feels cool. I mean, everyone's pretty excited. I'm excited too.
Newsday Steve Popper joins me now. Steve, I can't believe what I just saw. How can you describe one of the greatest comebacks in NBA Finals history?
I'm not sure what the 1,000 words I just sent into Newsday actually said. But look, it's the greatest comeback, the largest comeback in NBA history, NBA Finals history.
Yep.
Mike Brown immediately called OG Anunoby's tip-in the most iconic shot in Knicks history. And look, I wouldn't have blamed any fan who left at halftime. They stuck around, and the craziest thing is they come back from this, they fight back, they hit the game winner, and no one leaves. And no one's leaving for 10 minutes after. It's just pandemonium in here. And you know, they talk about watch parties and stuff. This was the greatest watch party, and the tickets probably were underpriced.
Well said, well said. So forget down 29. They were also down 17 with about 9 minutes to go. No team in finals history had ever made this comeback in this amount of time. My question to you is, how does this transfer into Game 5 now on Saturday in Texas?
Well, I think the harder task really is for the Spurs, who saw this one as a chance to go back home 2-2, get back home court advantage. Instead, they now are on, playing for their lives. I think the Knicks were very matter of fact. It was kind of odd. Well, everyone is crazy in New York. Maybe the 15 people who were the players in uniform who soaked it in, but then they really seemed to already focus on heading back that direction.
1973. That was the last time the Knicks could call themselves the best team in the world. Saturday night, one more win, and they could do it again. For Steve Popper, I'm Jamie Stewart from NewsdayTV. And the celebrations erupted immediately. Here's Taylor Swift dancing with fans at MSG. Ben Stiller, Fat Joe, also among those celebrating before fans spilled onto the streets surrounding the Garden early this morning. What a scene. And you can read more about the Knicks run on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Well, bail has been revoked for a Farmingville man accused of killing two 19-year-old EMTs in a high-speed crash. It comes after detectives say they caught Frank Labidi driving with a suspended license weeks after the January crash in Hicksville. The FIFA World Cup kicks off this afternoon in Mexico. The first match at MetLife Stadium is Saturday night. The East Rutherford Stadium has temporarily been renamed the New York, New Jersey Stadium for the World Cup. On the USA team, Lake Grove's Joe Scally will be the first male player ever from Long Island to go play in a World Cup. Team USA has their first game tomorrow night at 9 against Paraguay in L.A. And now to the heat. Parts of the island could feel close to 100 degrees today. Here's a look outside at Rogers Beach in West Hampton. A heat advisory for today and tomorrow. Meteorologist Jeff Banson has your hyper-local forecast.
Thanks, Jamie. It is going to be a hot couple of days across Long Island. We have that heat advisory for Nassau and western Suffolk up to the William Floyd. Temperatures across the east end will be a little bit cooler, but the humidity going to be really overbearing, so it will feel like the low to mid 90s out there and the mid to upper 90s as you work your way west towards New York City. And it's the humidity again. Temperatures at face value not terrible if we were to say have dew points like we will this weekend, where it will be feeling much more comfortable. But those dews getting close to 70 the next couple of days. So this is what it's going to feel like. Again, mid-upper 90s for the western half of the island. Even, maybe places like Riverhead, Mattatuck, North Shore, where the wind is not coming off the water, it may feel very uncomfortable. And it certainly will feel uncomfortable out there tonight. Look at these low temperatures, right around 70 or so degrees, maybe mid-70s. So we'll need the AC for sure. And the humidity keeps on keeping on into tomorrow. Maybe slightly cooler temperatures, but it'll still, again, feel like the 90s across much of the island. We also have to talk about the storm risk starting with this evening. We'll have a greatest threat window, I would say, between about 5 and 10 o'clock. The flooding that would be associated with these, you certainly see some isolated localized flash flooding. There could be some small hail with these storms, and the gusty winds, kind of think back to that storm that we had on Saturday where we had some trees, branches down, some power outages. That's a concern with these storms, I would say, outside of the rain risk. Cannot rule out a tornado, a very isolated, weak tornado. The chances are we don't see one, but cannot rule it out across the tri-state area. So as you take a look at Futurecast here, there you can see those storms kind of bubbling up late in the day. They'll quiet down, skies will clear out overnight, and it'll be a nice day on Friday, albeit a hot and humid one. We'll just have to watch for another round of some storms, especially western Long Island later in the day. Forecast for today, get some relief down to the beaches, cooler 70s, Twin Forks down to the South Shore, Fire Island, but 80s, 90s for the rest of us. Muggy tonight at storm threat early on, and then we'll clear things out and do it again tomorrow. Again, another day with a heat advisory in effect. The weekend looks great right now. A great summer weekend, mid 80s. Lower humidity. It's going to be fantastic. And, of course, all the rainy weekends that we've been talking about here in the Weather Center. Not this time around. It will be cooler. Clouds will increase on Monday. We could see some showers on Tuesday. That signals the arrival of significantly cooler air. So we'll have a great beach weekend, and then we'll get back to some cooler and eventually comfier air next week.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries.
All right, thanks, Jeff. In the midst of the housing crisis on the island, one village is banning multi-unit housing. Virginia Huey has the story in Amityville.
In the village of Amityville, you won't hear the sound of construction of new residential rental developments anytime soon. Village officials have decided to put the brakes on building any multi-unit housing until the end of this year.
While I understand there's a housing shortage, personally and the board, we've got to worry about and concern about what's right for the village of Amityville.
Amityville's most recent housing boom of nearly 500 rental units built from 2020 to 2025 included the Village by the Bay and Avalon Bay complexes. The village set a 6-month building moratorium back in December to allow a committee to study the impact of housing development on village services, such as police, fire, and building departments. Amityville Village Mayor Michael O'Neill says the committee decided to extend the moratorium another 6 months to survey residents, business owners, and developers.
We want to get the entire picture of the impact and what people will like and what would be our appetite going forward.
Mayor O'Neill says a summary of the surveys will be presented to residents at a public board meeting in October.
We do have an affordable housing crisis on Long Island.
Dina Rosenberg is a 19-year resident of Amityville and a business owner in the village. She supports the moratorium and the possibility of new housing.
But it can't just be done for the sake of being done. It needs to be done smartly.
A few doors down, Jean-Paul Navarrete of Cornucopia Nursery says the village should pause housing development indefinitely.
Because it brings more pressure to this village right now, just for the simple fact, yes, all sewers, no parking right here, and it's no room right now.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
And you can read more about this story on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. While at watch, the cost of living on Long Island is going up. We're about to pay even more at the grocery store and the gas pump. Newsday's Sherry Einhorn and James T. Medore tell us why.
If you've bought gas or groceries anytime recently, you've probably seen prices are high. We've all seen it. I'm here with Newsday business reporter James T. Medore, who's going to give us the very latest inflation numbers for our area. And James, you told me it's not great news, right?
No. Gasoline prices rose 46.8% in May, year over year. That's the fastest rate of growth in nearly 4 years. and follows double-digit increases in gasoline prices in April and in March.
Now, because gas prices are high, what does that mean for other parts of our economy?
We rely on gasoline and diesel fuel in particular to deliver goods and services to consumers. So everything you're buying in the store had to get delivered. Therefore, the prices of those products go up because the fuel needed to deliver them to the store went up.
What else is impacted on Long Island?
The other major area is residential rent. Residential rent in the New York metropolitan area rose 4.4% year over year in May. That compares to 2.9% year over year nationwide. So rents are rising faster in the New York area than nationwide.
And so overall, the number for Long Island is what?
Overall, the inflation rate is 5.1%. And economists tell me that's a tipping point. That shows Long Islanders are really feeling the pain. It would be far better if prices were rising 2 to 3%. When they're over 5%, Stephen Kent, the chief economist for the Long Island Association, tells me that means Long Islanders are feeling the pain. They're reducing their expenses because they have to pay more for gasoline.
Newsday business reporter James T. Medore, thanks for joining us.
And find your guide to tracking prices, spending smart, and understanding Long Island's real cost of living with Wallet Watch on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Here's what's up on Long Island. If you like snakes, lizards, and turtles, check out the Nassau Reptile Expo at the Cradle of Aviation Museum in Uniondale on Saturday. It will feature hundreds of different species. The event runs from 9:30 to 4:30. The Long Island Pride Parade in Huntington kicks off Sunday at noon at Clinton Avenue and Main Street. The event will include floats, marching bands, and classic cars. This year's theme is Unstoppable Pride. And a fun time in Franklin Square this weekend at the Long Island Bavarian Fest at Plattdeutsch Park Beer Garden. You'll be able to enjoy food, music, dancing games, and more. For admission info and more events, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box on our homepage. And time now for the best in high school sports. Here's Jared Volusi.
There were some amazing moments in Long Island Championship action all across spring sports, as well as a state champion crowned. That's exactly where we'll start, as Half Hollow Hills flag football was going against Shaker. And how about wide receiver Zoe Franks in the open field? She's going to make defenders miss with 3 spin moves. And Franks wasn't done yet. This time she's going to catch a touchdown pass from Samantha Heyman, and Hills won a state championship. And in baseball, how about Center Morich's pitcher Dan Gilroy saving some of his best stuff for the Long Island Championship game? He was phenomenal, as the righty had 11 strikeouts and Center Morich's took down Oyster Bay. And in another Long Island Baseball Championship game, Kings Park and Plain Edge, they are scoreless here, but Dylan Locasano with a big-time hit. He drills this one, and 2 runs will score for the Red Devils, and they go on to win the LIC. And in softball, Sophia Nicastro of Calhoun, her 14th strikeout seals the deal, and the Colts win the Long Island title. And we'll head over to lacrosse now. Cold Spring Harbor against Bayport. Audrey Davidian of the Seahawks with the save, and they get the victory. And in boys lax, Manhasset against Smithtown East. Cameron James threads the needle to Hunter Hughes, but the quick start for Manhasset would ultimately be the difference in this game, as we'll go to Will Mondiello for set. Look at this move from Mondiello. He's going to beat his defender and finish with the backhand, as Manhasset goes on to defeat Smithtown East. As those were some of the top moments from Long Island Championship action this past weekend. And now the surviving teams in boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse, baseball, and softball will look to bring home a state championship.
All right, thanks a lot, Jared. You can watch the entire Sarah Sounds Off episode on Newsday.com. This week, Greg breaks down the Long Island Championship winners. Just click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. And you can see more on these stories on Newsday.com and watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and the other services you see here. I'm Jamie Stewart. More local news and your hyperlocal forecast coming up on Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can.
Newsday investigates the explosion in illegal sex trafficking across Long Island.
It's amazing that in your own neighborhood have things pop up like this.
With illicit spas tucked away next to doctors' offices, dance studios, delis, and more.
You see them in Nassau County. They're all over. In Suffolk, they are in every town.
We explored the legal options and what can be done to stop it when there is sex next door. Now available at newsday.com/sex next door. Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.